decide the Simoco 150, the first of 6 races this year to decide the 1996-97 Australian Auscar champion. Pole position goes to the young gun, Jason Wiley. He's racing, of course, in a new car this year, and alongside him on the front row of the grid is the Wiley veteran, Marshall Brewer.
Row 2, position number 3, Bruce Williams in the Calder Commodore VP, and George Corinthus out of position number 4.
Recovering from a huge crash last year, Eddie Abel-Nika, and alongside him, Nathan Pretty.
Row 4 is held down by Darren McDonald out of position number 7. Position number 8, Matthew White.
On the 5th row of the grid, Rodney Jane, another of the Jane boys. Alongside him comes Darryl Spears.
Row 6, position 11, Richard Howe, and alongside Richard, Nicole Pretty.
Nicole, of course, is the sister of Nathan Pretty, and rounding out the 13 is Lee Watkins at the rear of the field.
Set for a start, we have got the green, away we go. The first of 82 laps around the Goodyear Thunderdome, and Jason Wiley certainly got away the best. Have a look at Bruce Williams in the Bendix Commodore. He has gone nicely straight into the second position.
Williams off the second row of the grid, and he is really on a charge.
Down the back straight they come. They're just all sorting themselves out and getting comfortable. One man who has got comfortable very, very quick was Bruce Williams. He has gone right into second, just ahead of Marshall Brewer. They've got to keep an eye on the youngster, though, out in front. Jason Wiley, he set pole position. He is on fire here this evening, and look at him go.
Wiley driving the car that won the Auscar Championship here last year in the hands of Terry Wyhoon. He's put the car on the track virtually without change, and that's a wise thing to do, George Elliott.
Certainly is. If you've got a car that's running that fast and that good, I guess leaving alone is the order of the day.
Riding with Bruce Williams in the Simoco Commodore, and he's all over the back of young Jason Wiley.
This is great vision out of Bruce Williams, Bendix Commodore. Not that far behind, I guess a car length to a car length and a half from Jason Wiley as they go in. Wiley got a little out of shape there, the tail end a little bit loose, and Bruce has come right up. Now Jason starts to pull away again. Doesn't that footage just gave you such a good idea of the speed that they're doing. Now we go on board with Marshall Brewer in the Sigwell 02 machine. Having a look up the inside of Bruce Williams there as well. See our race leader, Jason Wiley, in the foreground, the blue bonnet. By the looks of our vision at the moment, Marshall Brewer has got Bruce Williams up the inside. Here he comes now on our race leader, looking to go one position better. He is right up on the back of Jason Wiley.
Brewer in the Falcon, he's had all sorts of difficulty with that car in qualifying, but side by side goes Marshall J. Brewer alongside Bruce Williams. Only now seizes the advantage after 2 laps of travelling side by side.
The yellow machine you can see back in 4th position, that's Eddie Abel-Nika. He made a nice move up the inside as well. Have a look at this, 3 abreast down the straight. Marshall Brewer is the meat and the sandwich. Bruce Williams is the big winner. Williams has gone from second back to third, now straight into the lead.
Williams driving, you'd have to say, wouldn't you, George, the race of his life here in this early stage?
It sure is, John. It's very early days yet in this race, and Bruce is really pushing that car hard into those turns.
82 laps in this Simoco 150, and how long does it take for the cars to actually settle down, the drivers to settle down and form a position?
At this pace, John, the laps that they're doing and the speeds that they're doing in these laps, it'll probably take about 4 or 5 laps before those cars get really up to temperature. Then they'll start to settle down a little bit for the long race.
But they're lapping very well at the moment. The lap record here in the 30s. These cars doing 32s even at this early stage on full tanks.
Yeah, they're not far off the lap record there. And, you know, as you say, with the full tanks, as the tanks start to empty a little bit, though, of course, the cars will get a little bit looser.
Look at Brewer and Wiley side by side in second position.
Good scrap going on there for that second spot, but have a look at the yellow machine back in 4th. That's Eddie Abel-Nika just creeping up. Have a look how close these cars are. Nathan Pretty is back there in 5th also, and then we pick up Matthew White back in 6th. So look at them starting to bunch up. Here comes Abel-Nika up the inside. This is great stuff.
Abel-Nika had a huge crash in the last race of last year's Thunderdome series, and to come back at all is a miracle. To come back so competitive is absolutely spectacular.
Well, there was talk, a little bit of disappointed talk that this field wasn't as big as expected. I tell you what, there's no need to talk like that now. Have a look at the quality of racing. This is just sensational stuff. Now Marshall Brewer on the inside of Jason Wiley. Wiley's got the outside run. That's the long way around for sure. Those two guys are still having a great scrap for that second spot.
And Nathan Pretty back there in fifth position, knocking right on the door and coming alongside Abel Nika. Spectacular racing.
Speaking with Eddie Abel Nika before the race this afternoon, he said he was really confident for tonight. He was very happy with the race package. And now have a look at it. The proof's in the pudding. He's having a look up the inside once again.
Jason's hanging out there on the outside. It's a very uncomfortable place to be, I've got to tell you. He's been there for about 4 or 5 laps now. He'll be feeling the strain, and he'd certainly be looking forward to getting back to the inside line. Abel
Nika once more having a go down the inside, and now the race for the lead is starting to slow down the rest of the field, so everyone catching up.
We now go on board with Marshall Brewer in the O2 machine. There you goes Abel Nika and Pretty and Matthew White. So 3-4 now have gone up on the inside. That looked like it could have even been the 41 machine of George Karitzis and Rodney Jane. 44 goes by Darren McDonald. Marshall Brewer has got problems, big problems. He is going backwards very fast.
Brewer's using the new aluminium heads that are allowed for the first time, in fact required for the first time, in the Ford Falcons. And he's been saying that he's been having great difficulty getting the setup to work.
He's having a look, just saw him then, John, having a look up in the rear view mirror. Relegates Wiley to that second position. Well, that's yet to be determined. He's got a very wide line there, is Jason Wiley.
Jason's certainly not going to give it away easily. He's quite happy to hang out there beside the wall. Very talented young driver, a lot of experience in go-karts, and I think it's showing here tonight.
Bruce Williams down the inside now into, I guess you'd call it equal third position.
Bruce is having a good run. He's had his share, he's had his time at the front, and he's allowed himself to drift back. Now he's back on the pace. I think he's looking the goods for this race, Bruce Williams.
These cars, not as fast, obviously, as NASCARs, but keep in mind that the engines produce about the same horsepower as Group A racing cars, yet they're running on road radial tyres. Just spectacular stuff.
What I can't get over, John Smales, is how they're just such in perfect formation. It's almost like they're gritting up ready for a start, but they're not. They're racing, and it's full on. It's fair income racing. And your race leader in Melbourne's cheapest cars machine, it is Eddie Abel Nika leading the way, which was mentioning there. They're looking to that first yellow. Well, up until this point in time, we've seen a fairly clean race.
Oh, it's been sensationally clean, hasn't it? There's not been a yellow at all.
This is good footage from car number 7, Rodney Jane's Ford Falcon. You can see Nathan Pretty just tucking in behind him there. We pick up the 44 car of Darren McDonald. Good footage from the Bob Jane Team Arts Falcon.
Less than a car length separating back to Pretty's car.
Nathan having a little look up the inside. Looks like it could even be Matthew White. Perhaps not Darren McDonald. Matthew White sitting behind Nathan Pretty.
Nathan's having a bit of a look at the outside now. He's not frightened to run out to that wall either.
Now here's a race on between Eddie Abel Nika, and now coming up into contention is George Karitzis.
Oh, they're all having their turn. They're all having their turn, aren't they? George Karitzis has come from, I guess, around about 4th or 5th, right up into the major placings. He now sits in second spot ahead of Jason Wiley. Have a look at Rodney Jane. He has put himself nicely up into the top 4 and has really made a strong surge forward.
Karitzis an interesting fellow, in fact. He's out of the go-kart mould as well. Open to a whole heap of young guns, and it's good to see.
Of course, John Brad Jones not here for the 96-97 series, contesting the Australian Super Touring Series, as we go on board with Nathan Pretty. Some good pictures out the front there. You can see Rodney Jane just off to the left-hand side in the Auscar machine. Just a little further up ahead, that looks like Bruce Williams to me.
Jane survived an horrendous fiery crash here at the Thunderdome 2 years ago. No one who saw it will ever forget the fireball of a motor car as he clambered out of it.
Look at Nathan Pretty working hard, very hard behind the wheel.
Nathan's working that wheel very, very hard, because don't forget the car's getting lighter now. They're using all their fuel. They're hitting those bumps. The car's getting thrown sideways a little, and he's fighting to control it.
Down comes Jason Wiley again now, looking for the lead, and he takes it. And following him through is Bruce Williams.
Car number 12
is out, and it's out only because there's a bit of debris on the track.
Well, pit road has been opened, and all cars, all drivers opting to head straight into the pits for that one and only pit stop during the 82-lap journey.
And George Elliott, they really needed that stop.
Absolutely, and you know, these pit stops can make you a breaker. You can come in here leading a race and go out last, or vice versa. You can come in last. If you've got a really good pit stop, you can go out in front.
We're watching Bruce Williams change at the moment. 2 outside tyres being changed. They're the tyres that really are worked over hard here at the Goodyear Thunderdome.
You can see the orange flashing light there coming up and reflecting on Bruce's helmet. The cars are actually fitted with a light inside, so that when the caution lights come on the circuit, the yellow caution lights come on in the car.
Out goes young Jason Wiley, so he beats Bruce Williams out of the pits. These cars, an 80-litre fuel tank. They'll take about 35 litres at the halfway point.
Well, the first few cars are very, very efficient. That's Eddie Abel-Nika getting out there by the looks of things, or that was car 47, Lee Watkins, getting out nicely. Here's young Nicole Pretty, and she can't come in because the Pretty family, well, there's many of Nathan Pretty on the outside, winding up to speed now. Pace car's gone, and we're racing again on lap 52. Car number 11, Richard Howe, was the car on the inside. There he goes, sitting back there in third spot, but he is a lap or perhaps a couple of laps down, and the rest of the drivers coming around them. This is going to be a good battle up front. Nathan Pretty leads the way from Eddie Abel-Nika, sitting in second spot there, nice and close. Then we look back to third place that is held down by car 41, George Karitzis.
Karitzis just a little way off the pace, but trying very, very hard to catch the distance.
On board here with Matthew White in the auto colour machine. Just a little difficult to see who is in front of him.
And seriously, that's about the view some of the drivers get, isn't it, George? So it's not a great view for the drivers.
No, if you've got 2 or 3 cars in front of you, really, you're pretty well following the car in front of you, and you're hoping that he doesn't run too wide, because very easy to get yourself in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Guys, while we've been talking, there has been a lead change by the looks of things. Eddie Abel-Nika has managed to slip through on the inside, and yes, indeed, he's been able to slip through on Nathan Pretty, and another move in front of them.
Fifth position as he charges down the inside of Williams, and in front of both of them is Jason Wiley.
Have a look at this. Bruce Williams is the meat in the sandwich. Pretty slipped through on the inside. Karitzis has got the outside run. Well, Bruce Williams being given a really hard time, and there's contact there as well. Bruce Williams, well, what's he doing?
Well, he's all over the track, isn't he, George? I mean, he's got a problem there somewhere because he's just not holding his line.
No, Bruce is working very, very hard there. His car's moving all over the track. I think he's working really hard. No shortage of bravado, but I don't think the car's really got what Bruce would like it to have.
Another big mover in the pack is car 44, the light blue machine, the VR Commodore of Darren McDonald. Well positioned in there behind Bruce Williams. Then we see Rodney James starting to come up on the 41 machine there of George Karitzis.
Meantime, the leaders start to open a momentary advantage, maybe 1-2 seconds at the outside, ahead of this pack.
Well, I remember saying a little earlier in the race, John,
but wants to go with a championship under his belt.
The VS Commodore hasn't let him down. We see the white flag. We are on our way home. And more to the point, Jason Wiley is on his way home to race victory number 1 for the 96-97 series.
And you are right about that bonnet. It's very loose indeed, George, and he's only got a couple of corners to go, so it'll probably be okay. But boy, that must have been worrying him.
Just goes to show that no matter how much preparation you put into a race car, the slightest little thing could bring you unstuck. Up
to lap Bruce Williams. Williams in a lot of trouble. And here we come, the winner of the Simoco 150. Checkered flag out for Jason Wiley.
That's going to be a huge confidence for Maine there to finish in second spot.
Well, it's again a good confidence booster for Eddie, because after the crash he had last year, to come back and get a sound second like that is going to be a wonderful confidence boost for him. In third place, Nathan Pretty. In fourth, Darren McDonald. And rounding out the top 5, Matthew White.